What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Tom here with Tom Ria Sports, and we're back with our recap of NFL Week 7 spread picks. Just going to go over real quick our picks, where we hit, where we missed. It was definitely a great week. Starting off Thursday night was the 1-5 Giants heading into Philly in a big divisional game. Eagles closed as 5-point favorites at home. We picked the Giants to cover. They did. A game they should have won. Came down to the end. Giants blew it. Somehow are still kind of in the division race, but not much hope for them. So 1-0 in the start. Lions-Falcons, the first game on Sunday. Another game, Falcons were 2.5-point favorites. Looked like they had this one in the bag. All they had to do was not score a touchdown in the end, kick a field goal, run the clock out. Easy win for them. Ultimately, Gurley accidentally falls in the end zone. This was a wild game. Another blown lead for the Falcons. Lions end up winning and beating the spread. So it was a loss for us there. We picked the Falcons. Browns-Bengals. This week was filled with wild, close games. Browns were 3-point favorites on the road in Cincy. We picked the Browns to cover the 3-point spread, and they just did by the skin of their teeth at the end. Looked like the Bengals, Joe Burrow might have got him a game-winning touchdown, but Baker Mayfield had maybe the best game of his career. He was absolutely incredible after an early turnover. Unfortunately, they lost Odell for the rest of the season, but big win for the Browns. They're now 5-2. Steelers-Titans, another tremendous game. Both teams were undefeated coming in. This was essentially a pick-em. Titans were 1-point favorites at home. We picked the Steelers. It's hard to go against them. They're so well-rounded. I think their offense is still getting going. They looked like they were going to blow them out early. The game was pretty ugly in the first half, but Titans made a fearless comeback. Ended up losing by 3, but Steelers cover. Good win for us. Panthers-Saints. This one was tough to pick. I wasn't really sure if it'd end up being a blowout or not. Saints were at home, but we ended up picking the Saints to cover the 7-point spread. They did not. Panthers lost by 3. Close game. Almost actually could have tied it at the very end, but Saints win. They improved to 4-2. Bills-Jets. This was an ugly, ugly game. Not really. I've watched some of it. Not enjoyable to watch. A lot of field goals. Pretty good defense on both sides. Jets 0-7 now. They were actually 11.5-point underdogs when I was making my picks, and I picked the Bills to cover just because it's hard to pick the Jets in anything. Bills do not cover, do get an 8-point win. They're 5-2, tops in the AFC East. Cowboys headed into Washington, take on the football team. Both teams are now 2-5. Cowboys looked atrocious. They're an absolute mess, and looks like they're doing a complete fire sale, accepting their fate for this season. They scored 3 points. They were 1-point favorites somehow. I think they've been favorites in most games this year, which is kind of shocking. We picked Washington, and Washington covered with ease. Packers-Texans. Texans were 3.5-point underdogs at home. This game sort of seemed like it could have been a trap game. No Aaron Jones for the Packers, no Bakhtiari, I believe. But Packers came out strong. Played pretty good defense early on. Offense was tremendous as always. Devontae Adams had a huge day. Packers win. They're 5-1. They also cover the 3.5-point spread, which we picked, which is good. Buccaneers-Raiders. Buccaneers were 2.5-point favorites on the road in Las Vegas. Game was a little bit close early on. I think it was 10-7 Raiders in the second quarter at some point. Maybe the end of the first. I didn't really see most of the game. I did see a lot of Brady highlights. He was unbelievable. Some of the throws he made. Offensive line played well. They get a huge win on the road and cover the spread. Chiefs-Broncos, first snow game of the season. This one, I thought, this one I was definitely wrong about. I thought it would be a somewhat low-scoring game, somewhere in like the 20s, 30s. I thought it would be a decently close game, just a divisional matchup. Broncos were coming off a big win. They were home. Definitely was wrong about this. Chiefs were 9.5-point favorites. They covered that with ease. They had a pick six. They had a kick return for a touchdown by Pringle. Big defensive special teams performance for the Chiefs. They win big and improve to 6-1. Then the next game is the Niners-Patriots. This one I hit right on the head. Really felt like the Niners should have been favored here. Patriots have their issues. Patriots were 2-point favorites at home. They barely score. Cam Newton had an awful day. He might get benched soon if he keeps that up. Niners didn't do much passing the ball. They had some yards, but not really any touchdowns. Did a ton on the run game. Patriots got to shore that up if they want to compete. Niners defense looks really good, though, coming on strong lately. Big win for them to stay in that tough division. They're 4-3. Jaguars Chargers. Didn't really see any of this game. Again, just saw a lot of highlights. Herbert had a big day. It was close pretty much, in and out, throughout, but Chargers were 7.5-point favorites. We picked them to cover. They ultimately did. They win by 10. The Sunday night game, which was a late flex, and of course, Seattle being involved, it was a great close game. Seattle was 3.5-point favorites at home. This one I felt really strongly. I actually thought Cardinals were going to win, and they did. They almost blew it at the end after missed field goal and stuff, but they get the big victory and cover the 3.5-point difference. Now they're 5-2. And then the Monday night game, Rams and Bears in Los Angeles. Battle of Bears were 5-1 coming in. Rams were 4-2. Now they're both 5-2 after the Rams victory. Rams were 6-point favorites at home. I felt that was a little high, so I took the Bears to cover. Obviously that missed, but wasn't really a close game throughout. Rams defense has been very good. It's surprising a lot of people this year, and they're actually definitely a contender in the NFC and the NFL, so we'll see what happens there. So overall, really good week. Finished at 9-5 in picks. And what we're going to do now is just give you our Thursday night football pick. Obviously a little bit late, but Falcons, Panthers, ESPN has it as a 1.5-point favorite for the Panthers. This one's really, really tough. A part of me wants to pick the Falcons, but after what they did to me last week with the Lions, I'm going to go ahead and take Carolina here. There's a chance McCaffrey plays. I'm not sure if it's been updated or not. I haven't checked today, but I heard he might play yesterday. So even if he does or doesn't, I think Panthers win the game by about a field goal. So go ahead and pick the Panthers here. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.